right, welcome back to another 4C Group podcast where we discuss everything Park City. And as we know at the 4C Group, our passion is creating a luxury client experience. Today, I'm here with our Chief Sales Officer and someone who has played a huge role in shaping the future of the 4C Group, Heath Speakman. Today, we're going to talk about the past, present, and future of the company, the lessons learned from decades of high-end development, and what's next for the luxury market here in Park City and the 4C Group. So, Heath, did a little research on you, just from what I know.
Oh, great.
So let's see here.
Deep dive.
That's not too big of a deep dive, but so over 20 years of experience in the second home real estate development and destination resort communities, Heath has a proven track record of blending vision and strategy to create exceptional places to live. He has overseen design and community development for private resorts worldwide, guided architecture for major projects, and he's done that as the lead designer. Correct or incorrect?
True. Check. Check.
Nice.
That's
nice. So maybe just walk us through a little bit of that, the history, and then once we catch up to where we met, we'll go from there.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, the history. Yeah, just I guess the high level history is started up here at the University of Utah. So I'm not from here, but came here. It was top 10 school.
Know it well.
Yep. Yeah.
Are we calling it top 10 now?
It was top 10 when I came.
That was probably because I was there before you and they used my work for accreditation. I'm guessing, right?
Like, maybe.
I mean, I graduated in 98 with my master's. So what was your time frame?
Yeah, I was here in 2003, 2000.
Okay. So it's like a 5-year thing. So I would say that thank you or you should thank me
you.
for.
No, I'm thanking you. Thank you. Yeah.
No, it's a great school, and it was a fun experience, which you can attest to.
Yeah, and most people don't know that to get accredited, they take your work. Any work that you do there, if it's good, they'll take it. How many projects did they take?
I don't know exactly, but they kept a bunch of stuff, and like you say, I think it's a 5-year accreditation. My interesting question follow up to that would be is, what after the accreditation, because I had been pretty close to when you graduated, what was their ranking after they took your work?
They didn't take my work.
Oh.
No. So I was here for a year and a half.
Okay.
So started here and then went and finished out my schooling master's in Burbank, and they took all my work.
Okay. But so they would have been like an 8 probably, right?
They probably would have taken everything and been accredited just because of me. Yeah, no.
Yeah, all right.
No, but I wanted to keep my stuff. Yeah, no, they took it all. Yeah, photograph it, you're out. So started school here, got my and then finished my master's out in the LA area. So Burbank, Woodbury University. I was looking at the top residential, high-end classical architectural firms out there and had a slew of them, just went out there before I was living out there and found and landed and didn't know just how lucky I was with who I landed with, Tim Barber Architecture. Mm-hmm. Woo woo. Awesome designer, awesome team. He was at one point the president of the Institute of Classical Architecture, the Southern California chapter. And so he mentored me and I learned from him a lot, young in my career, right? So started there and we were doing, call it high end, but like B-lister homes, so the occasional A-lister, right? Yeah. This is LA area, right? So,
I mean, that's kind of interesting. It seems to me like when I was in school, a lot of people, when they got out, I don't think they were like, man, I want to go do classical architecture. Was that something that you truly enjoyed, or was that a passion?
Yeah, I don't think I had a lot of friends that were saying, I'm going to go find the top 10, like best of the best either. They just go and get a job and that's it. Right. But no, I was looking for something special. And so I landed there in LA doing awesome high-end design. Right. Started there. And then later I had a friend pull me from that. He said, hey, I'm working on the largest, so I have a sports background. He says, hey, I'm working on the largest sports complex for high school in California, and I want you to be a part of it. And me, just naive, I'm like, hell yeah, let's do that. Let's go.
I don't think we ever talked about the sports thing, because that was like when I went to FFKR, I was in sports facilities. That was like my first kind of role in, the professional architecture world. So that's even more interesting for, you know, what we'll be talking about, that you kind of had that little background too.
Yeah. There was a school district that had a lot of funding. They were looking for state recognition to do state championships and things. There was going to be the only two-tiered sports stadium in California for high school. So he pulled me into that, but naively, like I said, yes. And I'm like, okay, let's do this. Right. Like I jump into things. What I didn't realize is I'd been trained in classical architecture and wood construction with steel and moment frames, but not this commercial steel. like I had to learn a whole new bag of tricks there doing that. So I did that. And then between doing the larger commercial with steel and then doing the high-end residential, that fit perfectly. Ultimately where I landed in LA was Richard Mannion Architecture doing the extreme high end, you know, 20, 30,000 square foot homes, A-lister all the way, A-lister and above, call it, you know, the billionaires of the world doing that. That was the world that I was immersed in. And at that time, one of the members there was the president of, they had become the president of the of the Institute of Classical Architecture, Southern California chapter. So that's where I was. I would say that was my training. So yes, school training, master's, architecture, yes, but really working with these guys, with this talent, right? So that's where I started. That's where I was in LA before moving here.
Okay. In LA, classical architect, A-list, moved to Utah, right?
Moved to Utah, yeah. Wife and I, I met my wife at the University of Utah. It was the top 2 school in the nation for ballet. Did you pave that path too?
When I was in architecture school, I did a collaboration with the modern dance department, and I did an installation, and I used a bunch of the modern dancers as part of that. So,
okay, cool.
I could have had a little influence.
That's cool that you collaborated.
Yeah, it was an awesome project.
Had the school seen that before? That type of collaboration?
Never would I. It was crazy what we did. I can't talk about it, all of it, because there was probably some things that weren't supposed to be done as part of
Fight Club. Like what?
A little, we did some things with the installation that, we probably shouldn't have done, but it turned out good. And, that's, sometimes you got to break a few rules.
Like not OSHA.
Sometimes you got, definitely not OSHA. So there was, some cables that were strung at tight tensions and things like that. And we, had to do some foundation, make a little foundation across the way there from the architecture building, which is now the business school. So all evidence has been erased.
So I didn't know that you had collaborated that way with the school. So when I was with Woodbury University, being Burbank, right next to Studio City, it's next to all the, Warner Brothers, Disney. So they also had one of the best animation departments there.
Okay.
And they also had a very, an awesome business school as well. So business, animation, architecture, right? I was one of the first to cross those boundaries with them, saying, hey, I don't want this architectural project, this idea to just go up onto a board, be reviewed, and then disappear forever. So I said, I want to collaborate with your animation department. Let's put something together. And so then we crossed that boundary, and that was the first time for them. And I think it was the first time for them when I walked into the dean saying, hey, look, like I love architecture and I have the entire curriculum for the entire amount of what I have left, but I also want a business background, and you have a very an awesome business program. Here are the courses that I don't think I need in architecture, and here are the courses that I want in business. And I built that program for myself, and they were all about it. It was the first time they'd seen that to that extent. So it was architecture business, but ultimately masters in architecture.
Fantastic. Are we going to keep one-upping each other?
We could.
This podcast
no. So
I was really interested in NASA, and
well, actually, no.
We won't go there. Let's talk. let's get refocused here back on because what I really want to get to is some of the experience that really led you to you coming over to the 4C Architecture, which now is the 4C Group.
Yeah. So ballet. That's where we left off on a big tangent. Yep. Right. So my wife had just graduated from the ballet program there. Dated, we were married. We moved to LA. I did architecture. She danced professionally in ballet. And then years and years later, once we started having kids, didn't want to raise our kids in LA, right? So she's from Heber. I was looking for something up here. Nothing interested me, right? Looking in all the
very high standards.
Yeah, of course.
Yep.
No, coming out here, there wasn't anything. But then I did find there was a firm who had architecture and interior design that was doing the top high-end projects, but vacation type homes for Discovery Land Company. So there was a very high level of design. You know, once you get into that realm, it's like everyone's so well traveled, like they know good design or not, right? Once you're up in that category, and they had that here in Utah, and so it was a good fit. We joined. I was there for a while, and then ultimately left and found 4C, or 4C found me together. It was a good pairing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you know, I'm trying to think back to, you know, when we first met. Obviously, there was some mutual, you know, friends, people that worked for me, and I had been looking for somebody at 4C Architecture that could come aboard, start helping with design, maybe take over some of that role, and eventually, you know, start to, you know, help with sales and all those things. And, you know, I'd been looking for, definitely hard for 5 years and just wasn't finding anybody. And, you know, I think a mutual friend kind of set us up from what I remember. And I'm, you know, sometimes I'm a little senile, but you tell me if this is right or wrong. I think we talked on the phone and stuff, but I think I scheduled a lunch and we met. And I remember you walking in with your little man bag or whatever that is. And you had like your folders and fodders hanging out, and there's markers and pencils. And I think I was already sitting down. I can't quite remember, but I was kind of like, I think this is going to be the guy.
Well, the way you describe that sounds extremely disheveled and unorganized.
No, I don't mean that way at all. But I mean, what I found through that initial meeting is there was a lot of commonality with the way I design a project and the way you design a project, which, other than my partner when we had the 4C design group, which was, you know, the LA Salt Lake thing, you know, we had worked closely together and had a very similar process at which we designed. I had never really interacted with anybody since then that kind of had done things the same way. Now, you know, we'll go back a little bit, but, you know, the big difference was I designed an 1/8 inch scale, which I think shows I probably have a little more talent, because you're designing in 16th or whatever, smaller scale, which is fine, but
it's hard. It's hard to go.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, sure.
But anyway, but other than that, I think the process was very similar. And really, I think within 10 minutes, I was kind of like, okay, I think I found the guy. Let's figure out how we can make this work, you know, move forward a little bit. Eventually, you came over to 4C Architecture. You know, we had a great start. You started, you know, helping design some great homes, helping get in the sales process. And then, as we all know, we decided to move forward. And, you know, I already had an interior design company. We merged with Josh Phillips and his construction team to create the 4C group, which is where we're at today. And, you know, as that whole process merged, you know, basically lead designer came over. I think first role was director of architecture, and now chief sales officer.
Yep. Yeah, that's a fast
4 years, right? I don't know. I don't know what you want to add into that.
4 or 5 years.
Or you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, no.
But
going back to, so I had been approached by lots, you know, different companies over the years, and had never been interested. Right, always said no. And then, so when our common friend, old colleague of mine, said, "Hey, I have this guy, and he's pretty cool, and he's doing some cool things. Right, I think you should meet him." It was about the time that I was already leaving the firm that I was with, and I was going to start my own. And I thought, you know what? Why not? Let's go meet with him. Let's see. But I didn't think much of it.
Yeah.
When I was meeting this guy for lunch, I'm like, okay, look, you're an old friend of mine. Like, not you, but our common colleague. I'm like, you know what? Sure. Like, let's go. Let's do it. And then when we met, it was. And I showed up with my man bag and however you describe it.
It's kind of like a tote man bag.
Yeah. Hey, it has to fit 11 by 17.
Yeah,
right?
I know. Know the pain.
But no, as we were talking through like I had come up with my system, like my method of design over my entire career, and it was efficient and tight and could get owners through a process quickly. And as you described your process and that you had created over the last, like they were so incredibly aligned. And I thought, whoa, like this is like this could actually, like there could be something here. And turns out there was. And we partnered on architecture, and we ended up here, merged with architecture, interior design, construction, finance, 4C group.
Yeah.
Boom.
And that's where we're at. So,
but that was striking to me.
Yeah, I think it was good.
Because that's not typical. That's not normal.
It's definitely not normal. And we won't go into all the details, but I would say our design process was scary similar.
We were very aligned.
Other than I did 1/8 inch and you did,
and you're cool, and you're kind of a cool dude. So that helped.
Yeah. Yeah. That usually helps. And we hit it off.
I would say we hit it off.
We hit it off. It was an instant bromance.
Yep.
And I think obviously I had lots of great projects that were ready to go, which I think is fairly unique for, trying to bring somebody in like yourself to a firm and offer and say, hey, look at all these awesome I think we drove, I can't remember the whole process, but I'm sure we looked around and I showed you the client list and the workload we had. And I think immediately it was like, hey, let's get you on some of these projects. You were immediately forefront with clients, getting to do, I think, phenomenal design, which you were doing. I think that's the big fear for leaving where you're at is you were getting to do, and this is kind of my next question here, but you're going to do great projects and you don't want to go backwards and not do great projects.
I saw that you had projects in the pipeline with a bare bones team. You needed to be like 4C design needed to be risen to the next level, grow the team.
We needed to scale,
continue to design. And I had those capabilities and we did it.
Yeah. So with that said, I still like hear more about your story, and then we'll kind of get into a little bit more 4C. So obviously previously you had overseen projects both in the US, internationally. What has been your biggest takeaways from working in such different markets? Because now, 4C, we're kind of like, we're laser focused on Park City. Now we're going to expand other markets, but you had worked internationally. I mean, Europe, Mexico, tell me, like, what was your biggest takeaway from having to do architecture in all those different markets?
Yeah, very different. Very different. So coming from the high-end development world, coming from the high-end residential world, and then moving into a high-end development world, they're two different ball games, right? Different strategy, different design, and then add the complexity of going into different areas of different, there's so much to learn. From an architecture standpoint, from a construction standpoint, right? Like kind of in my career, making the leap from wood construction to steel, suddenly it's a jump to block construction, right? Block construction down in Mexico and all the complexities there, right? Having to water cisterns under garages right? It's like all the things, there's so much to learn then moving overseas where they have a totally different block system in Portugal. It was talk about a learning curve, right? Yeah. But that's kind of how I always approached everything from when I was young, like in school, right? I always thought like the only way, I always studied more than everyone else, right? Everyone says like, how do you, like I kind of breezed through school, right? But I studied more than anyone. I would expose myself. I think that the best designers, the best people in this market, like if you know more and see more, if you expose yourself to just so many things, then you have so many tools in your tool belt to pull from. And so like, what are the things that I learned? Man, expand your tool belt for anyone. If you're passionate about something, then just dive deep into so many different realms of that thing, expand your tool belt, and then you can pull from anything and then put it together in a way that's unique to that. Right. So
yeah, I agree 100%.
Keep learning.
And I always say, don't be afraid to break the rules.
Don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to break the rules. Don't be afraid to fail.
I think that's the same thing, right? Yeah. You gotta go your path, right? You gotta decide where you want to go and go that way. Let's see. So architecture has always been at the center of your work, right? I mean, that's kind of your passion for sure. How has the training shaped the way you approach sales, design, and client relationships now that you're kind of moved into a new role?
Yeah. How does my background then lend itself to the sales?
Yeah, I think, sales, and it's a different client relationship, right? The architect client versus more sales relationships,
Yeah. Now, I mean, I was always kind of selling, right? I always say the best architect in the world, you've never heard of him because he doesn't know how to sell himself.
Yeah.
Right. Like there are plenty of architects.
Or is the best just to me, that's like, I don't even know how you could say you're the best because there's so many types of architecture.
Like you look at the famous architects, like Frank Lloyd Wright, and like all the big names. And it's like, well, actually, like most likely they were not the best. They just knew how to market themselves. They knew how to market themselves and put themselves out and sell projects and sell their ideas, like explain their ideas to owners, and they bought it. Right. But there are plenty of architects at the time that were better. It's just, they didn't know how to sell themselves. So I've always been able to straddle that sales and design at the same time, right? So how does that lend itself into sales? Well, I think it's always kind of been there, right? When it comes to sales for architecture, that's one thing. When it comes to sales for architecture and interior design, that's another. Yeah. And when it comes to architecture and design and construction, that's another. Now, I technically started my career swinging a hammer, right? So I did construction. I had an idea. I had a base knowledge, call it, before I started into architecture. I actually went into dentistry first.
Oh man. Well, I never did dentistry, but I built 3 of my own homes. So I feel like I have a pretty good handle on construction.
Yeah. In school, I went into dentistry and then because I love the sciences. I
was trying to one up you again, but that's.
You did. You did. That's why I just moved on.
you just passed on.
Yeah. No, I went into dentistry and then loved the sciences, like follow your passion. Right. But then I realized man, school's going to be hard if I don't follow my strengths. The math, the Englishes, the trigonometry, all of those. So I followed my strengths.
I don't think you would have been a good dentist. I'm just going to put that out there. I don't think so either. I think you're good at a lot of things, but I don't think I would have enjoyed that. No.
I love what I'm doing now. Love what I'm doing now. So with the architectural background, really, when it comes to sales, I mean, most of the projects we had were referral. Let's just throw that out there, right?
Yep,
we've never had to market. We still don't technically have to market.
We had a 22-year history in the Park City market.
Word of mouth.
As far as architecture projects go, there was not a shortage of architecture projects.
Not a shortage of projects, but there was a need in the market. So sales agents, either real estate agents or sales agents of the developments themselves, there was a need and a value that I could provide to them. And so I started out when sales agents have owners coming to their properties, they have a few lots that they can select from, but they don't really know what they can do with those lots. And so I offered my architectural background, my services to say, hey, you know what? Let me come out with you, right? I'm not taking a commission or anything.
Yep.
And let's walk the lots. I want to hear from the owners, hear what they want, hear what's important to them. And then let's look at the different lots and I can tell you which lot lends itself to what they want. And then let's go from there. And they end up purchasing the lot. And then most often we end up designing and then building their home. So that's just one way. We have so many tools in our tool belts of talents that we have. Like we have a lot of people here at the 4C group.
We do.
We have so much talent, so many tools in our belt that bring value to this market, to the sales agents, to the owners. It's kind of win-win-win for everyone.
Yeah. So sorry. Let's get into that. The 4C group now it's kind of, been together for, this has been that merger is about 3 years. And, let's talk a little bit about the vision. So in your words, what is the big vision for the 4C group and why is it important that we have one?
Yeah, that's a big question. That's a good question.
But I think, forefront is sales, right? I mean,
yeah.
I think that the first thing to do is we have to express to, our clients, which maybe I'll let you get into how we define client a little bit, but I think it is important, that vision.
Yeah. No, look, that's a big question. At the very core of what we're doing, the whole reason why we merged in the first place is to provide a luxury client experience in this Park City market, in the high-end residential market. That's why we did what we did, because it's something that hasn't been done here yet, right? In this market. Now, you go to LA and we have, architecture, interior design. Those are very, very synced up together. And then you have construction. A lot of times that's an outside source. There's this concept of design build, but what we're doing is different.
Yeah. I think it's a component of that. And I would say in the high-end luxury residential market, it is still not that common to have the architects, interior designers, and contractor all under one roof. It does exist, but let's look at our target market. So our target market are the owners who have a vacation home type mindset. This could be their second, third, fourth, fifth home, right? Yep. In a gated community, luxury type spot, awesome golf course type of property, right? Yep. Park City, we have a lot, right? We're fortunate. Park City was kind of a hidden gem, right? Now it's known. The word is out.
Yeah, not just for skiing, but for golf and for like the summer months as well.
It's a year-round destination.
That's right. So Park City's attracting a lot of people who are looking for that. But most people that we're designing for don't live. I would say 90% of who we design for don't live here.
This is not their full-time residence.
It's not their full-time residence.
And it's definitely not their only home.
That's right. So taking all of that into context, like then we start to build on that, right? Like what would the best experience be for someone like that who lives like that, right? And it's not the owner coming here, purchasing a lot, going out and hiring an architect, and then going out and hiring a separate interior designer and a separate builder who may or may not work well together, who may or may not point fingers together, who, it's a centrally located type single source company that can take care of what they want. Right. So starting there,
we're kind of like our own cloud information database.
That's right.
Controlling all the information.
That's right.
In one spot.
That's right. If you can get three teams pulling off the same schedule, the same, the same program, if you can single source that, like there's huge benefit to that, right?
Well, like you say, so we talk about the vision, we talk a lot about the luxury client experience. And, when we say that, what we're really talking about is, we're able to control the cost of the project, the quality of the project, and the schedule of the project. To me, those are three big elements of that luxury experience. And to do that, you need to control all the information, the project. And how do you do that? Well, you have everybody working together collaboratively, one team, not siloed. And, I dealt with it a lot over the last 20 years before this merger. And, when you're a standalone architect or an interior designer or a contractor, let's face it, you still have your own self-interests at mind for your company, which, you have to make profit, all these things. Obviously you're, as the architect, always looking out for the client's best interests, but I had no control of what the interior design was going to do, schedule, what they were specifying. So I can't control their budget. The contractor, very little control, right? They kind of take that project over once we're done with our drawings and have a permit. And so by bringing all that in-house, we're able to control all the information, therefore able to control the cost of the project, the schedule of the project, and the quality. And I think that's a lot of what you're selling, or, the message. I shouldn't say selling. That's the message you're trying to get out there when you're meeting with clients.
Yeah. I don't want to say that it can't be done, right? That level of collaboration with a separate architecture and design construction, like it can be done. It's very rare.
Yeah.
Very rare to find that. Very difficult, right. There's too many details in a home that require a tight collaboration between all three that get missed in even the nicest of homes here in Park City, right? Well, too many, like for example, the stone on, like all these homes are glass, indoor, outdoor. huge glass opens up, you're right. The exterior stone, that's an architectural detail. Architect picks that 100% of the time, except I would call that an interior design detail.
Yep.
Because that stone makes its way into the home and it had better work with the flooring, the walls. There are too many details like that in a home that are all three.
Yeah. Right. And I don't think we're trying to say that we're perfect, right? That there's not going to ever be any mistakes or problems that arise using the 4C group. But I would say the way we solve those problems, they can do, because we can just take care of it internally and make it go away. We can just fix it.
And we know what to look for. We know what to look for to avoid some of these things, and avoid things early on instead of down the road, right? I use, you've heard me say it. I use the example like you can walk through one home, like a nice luxury home, and you walk in, you're like, wow, this is really nice. And then you could walk through another one and say, whoa, there's something different about this home. There's something different, and it just feels good. Anyone who walks through a whole bunch of high-end homes, you know it when you walk in one, you're like, holy shit, what's different about this one? I don't know what it is. I know what that is because we designed that.
And I would say, one of my things that I've been preaching for 20 years is living in a well-designed home will change your life.
Oh yeah.
For the better.
Oh yeah.
Obviously. So, that's, nothing better than living in a well-designed home, I think, to enrich your life.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So tell us now that, you're in this, you've settled into the new role, Chief Sales Officer. We've had lots of good interaction with, what we're selling at the 4C group, the full turnkey service. Tell me a little about what is the week of Heath Speakman? What does Heath do? Give me I know it's not week, it just doesn't repetition, but I want to go through a whole month, but kind of give me what does a week look like in the world of Heath?
Yeah, sure. As a chief sales officer. Yeah. I guess if you look at it on paper, it would say something like, builds and leads and manages sales and marketing teams, right? At the 4C group. But on the weekly, I would say I spend most of my time helping real estate agents and sales members sell real estate. That's where I spend most of my time.
How's it? Give me
with no commission, right?
Give me a little insight. I know you kind of touched on it, but what does that mean?
Yeah.
How do you help them?
Yeah. So look, we have a lot of tools. So I mentioned going on site, helping owners understand, giving them a vision as to what can be done on a site, right? To help them understand if this is the right lot or not for them, right? I'm not there to push, buy this. I'm there to help inform, educate. I'm there to, and give them vision, saying, look, you can really do this on this lot, and this is awesome. Do this, get this one. This one's perfect for what you're after.
Well, and I think you're able to say that with conviction and back it up with data because of what we do. So it's one thing to go just, give a little speech on a sell, but I think, with the tools you would say we have with the 4C group, you're able to not only go on the site and do that, but then come back to the office or go to projects we've completed and actually show them how we do it. Yeah. And that we can do it and that we can do what we say.
Yep. Yeah. A sales agent, right? Real estate agent that they're there to sell real estate, right? Sell.
Yes.
I walk in on a neutral plane saying I'm not selling this, but I can help you understand what you're getting into. And there's huge value in that, not just for the owner, but for the sales, whoever's selling it, right? The agent. Mm-hmm. So that's one. There are so many things and different sales agents find value in different things, right? And we ask them all the time, what would be valuable to you, right? I've had some say, if you could just take 3D model and put it on this lot, that would be amazing to help an owner under, kind of this type of home that's about this size that, we have so many homes in our arsenal. We've done, can't remember how many homes now, but to take a 3D model and just put it on there, be you're not getting this home, but here's an idea and you can see kind of how it works, right? So there's another tool. If sometimes development, right? I guess there's a distinction. We do homes for homeowners. We do homes for investors, and we do homes for developments. Most often, those three. Most often homeowners, but a development lots of times will try and be targeting certain lots. And they'll say, hey, could you give a vision to this lot to then entice someone to purchase this lot, right? So that's another tool we have in our belt, right? We create packets, digital packets, they can be sent out. Sales agent could walk and say, hey, look, here's an idea of what can be done on this lot, right? So design, I would say the most common, design packets, just meeting with owners and sales agents. Those are the top two, there's a third in there, I'm sure.
No, I agree that's definitely the top three. And like you say, the bread and butter is, custom homes for clients. So in this process, for someone that's either hearing about 4C for the first time or you just met them, what's the one thing, if there's going to be one thing, what would you want them to know right away, or the big takeaway?
If there's an owner who comes to us, gets to know us for the first time, they're shopping architects, interior designers,
whatever.
construction.
You're making this question.
What do we want to know?
You're making this question too complicated. It's okay.
What do we want them to know?
Yeah. Like, what's the big thing? What's the big takeaway you want somebody to know when they walk away from hearing about 4C for the first time?
Yeah. I guess it comes down to the value equation.
Value
equation.
I like that.
Really, the big takeaway is we want an owner. Well, first, I want to know all about the owner and what they want. So let's just start there. Like, I'm there to listen and understand, and right out the gate, it may be yes or no, right? Like, we may be able to provide what they want or not, right? So I'm there to hear them first and foremost, and see if there's something there. See if this is something that we could align on. Really, what I want them to know, and the takeaway is that we are more than capable of creating what they're after. That we will have the quality. I want them to walk away knowing, understanding our process and how we get from A to B, and that it's extremely streamlined and efficient and very thoughtful. And if they agree with this process, if we then it's a pair. Then it's a match.
That's a good. I think I asked a trick question. I didn't even know it. So really, it's. The takeaway is personalized to every client, what you think versus after listening to the client, what you want, what they should be taking away. I think that's a good answer, Heath.
Oh, thanks.
I like that. I love it when I learn something from you. It's good. It was not the answer I was expecting, but I like it.
What were you expecting?
I didn't know what I was expecting, but the way you explained it is really why you're in your role, right? You're there to listen to every client's specific wants, needs, help them evaluate that, help them understand the lots, the process, the cost, schedule, quality. And really the takeaway is going to be dependent on all those, their values, what they have, our values. And if those match, then it's a win-win, and it's going to be a great project.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A long time ago, I was at I stayed at one of the sales agents' homes up at the Yellowstone Club. JT, shout out, boom. He and I asked him like when people come in, this when I was like fully immersed in architecture, interior design, right? And I asked him, so when people come in, like, how do you, like, what do you do? Like how do you sell like all of this high end real estate? Like, what do you do? He said, when they come in, like I'm not selling necessarily.
Yeah.
I'm listening. Listening. We have the skis ready, and I know that I have this many minutes in this gondola to get to the top and hear them out and say, like, what are you after? What, like, you're here for a reason. Why? Like what entices you?
Yeah.
What do you see? And then he can move them into the right spot and say, this is what we have that fits you. Right.
Yep. I like it. So obviously, good advice. That's great advice. I love that. And I think that speaks to what we do. So working in all these these gated communities, developments, what's one misconception that somebody's had about luxury, about working in a luxury development that you've kind of like made you laugh or you thought was kind of funny?
Wait, that I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah, I don't know. Like a misconception, right? Because you got to remember a lot of our clients are coming in, and sometimes that's their first visit that when we're introduced, right? And we're trying to help sell that. Do you think there's anything like in any of these it's kind of this misconception of the process. I don't know, like any fun experience that you've been out on site and just kind of made you laugh and explain something.
Well, this is what surprises me. One, that, like the homes that we're doing, like last year, our average home cost was around $8 million. It always amazes me that you could meet someone only once or twice and they'll trust you with that investment. That always surprises me that anyone would do that, whether it's us, go with someone else, like you meet with them once, twice, 3 times, like that's it.
To me, that was always the fun part. I'm like, man, I get to basically design this house for somebody and spend their, $6, $7, $8, $10 million.
Yeah. So that was always interesting. Yeah. I mean, that's still interesting to me. But one of the biggest misconceptions people have is that it needs to be difficult. Everyone's like, wait, it can be this easy? Like, this is too good to be true.
It's I'm like, they're almost coming into it, right? Like, I'm getting ready got to ramp myself up. This is going to be quite the process.
Yeah. And I'm not, that's right. And I'm not just talking about people who this is their first time.
Yeah.
I'm talking about people who have done homes, 2-3 times. Now there is a big distinction between the 4C group and others in the market when it comes to construction. Because most everyone that have done homes before, they've been in a cost plus world where they find out the true cost of their home at the end of their project, right? They get into it, they get in bed with the contractor, and then suddenly, they're $500,000, $1 million over, right? So a lot of people come with these preconceived notions, like bad ideas of what it needs to be, of what construction is, right? Designing construction. That's a huge preconceived notion. When they hear our process, because we are not cost plus, right? Like part of this, what creates this luxury client experience, it's that we're not cost plus, we're a fixed price. Now that doesn't mean that it's a GMP. It doesn't mean that here's the number and that's it, right? There are always variables, right? Like who knows how much it's going to snow and we need to remove it. That snow removal, it's a variable, right? Like we don't know, but we can get so close on that cost and price before construction even starts that they're signing off on that number. They're like, this is too good to be true, right? Like they don't believe it. I'm like, no, actually it is.
That's it.
And
here's the data.
Yeah. And here's the data. We've been, like on the last 10 homes, we've been within 1% of that estimate from the very beginning. Now, there's a lot of work that goes into that. We put all the work in up front to be able to provide that, and then it seems the misconceived or the notion is, well, then you're just padding all your numbers. No, actually, we have multiple vendors. We're competitively bidding these vendors. When it comes down to it, at the end of the day, whether someone uses us, 4C Group, or some other contractor builder, as long as they're reputable, all of us are going to be within 1% at the end. Yeah, the home is going to cost what
they're building the same house, apples for apples, same quality, similar schedule.
There's no
the house is going to cost basically the same.
Yeah, you get in this market, this high-end Park City market, like there's no gouging going on in here. It's the home's going to cost what it's going to cost. The difference is we can tell you what that's going to be ahead of time and at
instead of at the end point in time. That's right. Exactly where you're at.
That's right. And also I would say the just kind of like our ethos, right? 4C, like what we believe, like we're not here to make your home more expensive so we make more money, right? Yeah. Which I get that preconceived notion all the time from owners saying like, they put in all this furniture, like, people who have had experiences in the past.
Well, I think that's one of our, things is, we want to build the house you want. We're here to give you the information and tell you how much those decisions cost. And then you can make the decision how much you want your house to cost.
I have that conversation all the time. I'm not here to make your home cheaper. I'm not here to make it less expensive. Yeah. No, I'm here to let you know. Our team is here to let you know the cost implications of the design decisions that you're making in a very live way, right? And no one's doing that in the market. So going back to your original question, like what is a luxury client experience? It's this process that we've built to be able to provide that. It's a process that leaves an owner with, I think you said it, with a clear understanding of cost, quality, and schedule.
Yep. So do you have any recent client stories that kind of show, or like the full collaboration, what it really looked like, or a little mini success story you want to share?
We see the tears when people move in. we see the, the thank yous, we see the, it's always fun, like turning over a house.
Yeah, I agree.
Right there's that. But no, it's so gratifying. Well, and you know what it's like, because you've been in, like you've done this for years. It is so incredibly gratifying to show an awesome design. They're like, we would have never thought of this. This is so much better than what we could have ever imagined. Like it's just, and it just leaves you on cloud nine, right?
No, it's great.
Like making people's dreams come true. I mean, not that sounds like a sales pitch or something, but really, like, taking their ideas and actually having the talent and ability, like the team, to pull it together and then make it a reality.
Well, and I think that goes, obviously we at 4C, we have the core values, right? We are collaborators. I'm just going to go through them real quick. What the heck? So we are collaborators. We are professionals serving professionals, which I think is right to that. We're professionals. Our clients are professionals. You do what you do. Let us do what we do. And that's how those outcomes happen. We grab the bull by the horns. I mean, we are fortune tellers. We find the better way. We are artists and artisans, and we do things for the right reasons. Any one of those 7 core values that you feel personally embody you the most?
That embody me? Oh, yeah. Because look, they're all a part of me. I would say more than to line up all of those. I would say more than any of those. I'd say 2. Can I pick 2?
You can pick. Okay.
We
all live by 7, but it's like, hey, what one really grabs you, right?
Yeah. I would say that the 2 that embody me the most, and really you should answer this, which do you
I think that embody you the most?
Yeah. When people,
what gives you the, when you hear that, that's like a little passion, right? Like,
yeah, I would say the collaboration and the artisans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. Artists.
There's no wrong answer. I mean, they're all.
Yeah. But just looking back on my career, like I've always follow your talents, right? Like my talents have always just gone into, sales and design, right? So those 2 things, right? Business development, design development, right? So those have really been core for me. And, of those core values, like those 2 just speak to that.
Yeah. I think that that's our first, there's a reason why we are collaborators as first. And I think that resonates with everybody, what we do, because we couldn't be the 4C group without collaborating. I think one that I've kind of grown into is we've scaled this company, and, is that we are professionals serving professionals. I always thought of myself as a professional, but growing and scaling and, building a leadership team and, our organizational chart, to me, that one started, that one really sticks out. Obviously we are artisans, and artisans as, creative architects. I think that one's almost a given that's who we are, right? Yeah.
But I would say collaboration, I've always said, but also more than that, I've always felt deep down, you never get to space on your own.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yep.
You surround yourself in a room with the smartest people, pull in talent, you collaborate to do something great.
The 4C
and
group,
I've always felt that.
Yeah. 4C group would not be where it is today with all its team members. That's for sure. And
it's always fun razzing each other, pretend one-upping each other. But the reality is I want people to be way better than me. I want people to be so incredibly awesome. If there's someone who just has a crazy, crazy talent, I want them. And bring him in. There's no ego here. You're better than me. So now let's work together and do something great.
Yeah. I was talking to somebody they're retired, but they were in, a C-level position in a couple of Fortune 500 companies. And he would always, this was kind of funny. He's like, when he would have his, his team meetings with his direct reports, he's like, if I'm the smartest person in the room, we're in trouble. And then if I am, what do I need you guys for? So I kind of think it's I never think of myself as the smartest person in the room. I do have a lot of experience in this market, and I think a lot to share and offer. But hey, man, I'm nothing makes me happier to work with people that are better than me in their job than what I've done. And that's been what's been awesome working with you, Heath, is like, I think you're phenomenal architecture talent, and, you know, have grown into a phenomenal salesperson, which I thought those were two of my big strengths. But seeing you come and do that in the 4C group, you know, I think it's amazing what you've done. So
thank you.
Yes.
And look, when we first partnered together, it was divide and conquer. Like I took on the design at that point, right? 4 or 5 years ago, you took on more of the sales. Like we had to, as both of us helped grow. And then now here we are, like, we have phenomenal design talent in-house, and now they're taking on design, and now we're shifting again. I'm taking on more full-time sales. So
it's awesome.
Yep. A lot of talent.
So let's move a little bit. Something that, you're going to be hearing a lot about in the market, the 4C collection.
Oh
yeah. So, since Heath, you're going to probably be leading the charge on the, you know, sales front and kind of introducing that to, you know, clientele and real estate agents. What's the vision behind the 4C collection, and how does it complement our custom crew projects, or how do you see those two, you know, complementing each other in this marketplace?
Yeah. I guess to answer that, I would step back to what are the needs of the client. Okay. Like let's start there. Client needs custom residential home. That's one thing. And there's a huge need for that in this market. But over the last years, like, you know, more and more we've been asked, like, do you have something ready now? Like, do you have, like, what do you have already? Like more and more and more. And it seems like there's more of, like, this is just steamrolling. Like, it's coming faster, that need in the market of something that's ready now and quicker than a custom home, right? Because it's a different timeline, right? Mm-hmm. Custom residential home takes a certain amount of time. Something 4C collection. So based on this need in the market, this desire for owners to have high-end home that's quicker, we decided to put together and start the 4C collection, right? Which, to start right now, is a collection of 3 homes of varying sizes, 5,500, 6,500, 7,500 homes, that are taking all the knowledge that we've had over the last 20 years, taking what we see in the market right now and where we think it's going, taking the best design minds for architecture, interior design. It's like the ultimate designed home.
Well, and construction minds.
Yep. Sorry. And construction minds, like, all putting input into what these 3 homes, and offering that as an offering to this need that we've seen in the market, which is something quick. So an owner can come in, they can select their lot, or if they already have a lot, or we can help them find a lot. And then they can look at our collection and say, you know what, this is the type of home that I'm after. And just with a few, you know, very simple key decisions, we can start construction on that home. It's already pre-priced. They know what it is. They know what they're getting into. It's phenomenally designed, mm-hmm. right? It's like architecture designed by architects, interior design designed by interior designers,
contract,
and construction. Like,
I mean, to me, it's taking the best. It's the best of the best. What we've learned. Obviously, everything's a snapshot in time. But it's really looking at, okay, you know, for the first round, right? We have the 3 houses. You know, obviously I think the plan is every year we're going to release a new collection or one or two or something as the market evolves. But what's great is it's really talking about a house that meets the need of the market. Like you said, well designed. You know, it's designed by architects, designed by interior designers, going to be constructed by contractors. So it's like the best of the best. Right now, I think we've taken more of what lots in the Park City market offer the most flexibility for what we're doing. And it's kind of probably more as a downhill walkout is probably the most prevalent lot available.
The most common type lot in the mountain environment.
The first round of these 3 is kind of based off of that. So very versatile. Doesn't mean it, you have a trickier lot, we're still going to be able to take that, right, and adjust it per the site. If somebody wants to make some changes, there's still, that ability. Obviously, we'll set the expectation. Okay, if these are the changes you want to make, right? There's going to be, something to do with cost, quality, and schedule. And then, but you're able to make that decision before construction. But I think it's, like you said, it's going to be a great offering because it also helps reduce that amount of time. And a lot of people, what we're finding, they don't want to go through the full custom process. Some people do, and we're still here to offer that. And that's still our bread and butter. But, the projects we've worked on in developments where developments have come to ask us to help design their developer product, which usually when we've done it, has become the most successful product for those developments. We took that and said, hey, if we're doing that there, let's do a 4C collection that could be built anywhere in Park City for that matter, in any development, and offer that to our clients. Kind of the next level, right? Is that?
Yep. Yeah. And look, it's not going to be for everyone, right? There are owners that are going to want their own custom home, and that's awesome. And they should go down that road. There are owners that want that easy button, that's still high level design. That's the 4C collection. And there are owners that just want a springboard of design, right? Like they want a little kind of custom, but like tweaks to that 4C collection. It's an awesome springboard to start from. And then, we can do that too. Now, do you remember when you brought this to me?
The collection?
This idea of doing a collection for 4C group?
It's a little vague. It's a little vague, but I do remember.
Do you remember my reaction?
Yes, I do remember.
What was it?
You didn't want to do it.
Why not?
Because you've been in that world before. And I think for you, the artisan, you love the challenge of designing a custom house on every lot and working with that client. And I think you really enjoyed that. And I think the product of the collection, I don't know, I'm not you, but I think it was, I still think it's a challenging thing because you're designing the best of the best of a home. But why don't you tell me what I said? 'Cause
Yep. Yeah. So coming from the
developer world,
for that part of my life, right? Yeah. From the development world, doing development homes that get, placed multiple times. Right. So when you brought it up to me, I was like, no, let's stick to custom. Right.
Yeah.
Like I do have this core fundamental belief deep in me that people ask what makes for the best architecture. People have asked that.
Yeah.
And always it's a unique site. Every site is unique.
Yep.
Every single site is unique. Not just the topography, the sun angles, the views, sure, those are all unique. The context of what's around you, like where are your neighbors? How does this interact with the community? How does this work with the road to get, there's a unique site and a unique owner. Every owner wants something so incredibly unique. Over the years, we've designed a home around a pool for their dogs to swim laps. We want a killer climbing wall that feels like it's overhanging a cliff, but it's indoors, we design homes seriously unique to owners and the site. That makes for awesome architecture. Well, that home should never be placed anywhere else on the earth other than that one spot on earth, right? So the idea of a collection that can be placed in multiple spots, it conflicts with that idea, right? With that deep down core belief. However, I, especially now, more now immersed in sales, I cannot turn a blind eye to the fact that there is a huge need in the market for this, that owners want this. They've been craving this. They want a high level design product that they can put on a lot very quickly and build it. And I think
so. I won you over, or you fully embraced the collection, I think is what it is. Cause I see how excited I would say once we made that decision, I saw you became very excited about it. I think you led the charge on, two of the designs and kind of got the ball rolling for the 4C group, which I think was amazing because you are on the forefront of sales. And I think that input on those plans is, definitely going to help make that successful. But I think what's even greater is I think all of 4C group has gotten on board with the collection, and we've broken these out into teams. And as you said, we're getting we have all the architects, all the interior designers. We have all our construction team. We have our finance team. We have marketing. We have everybody involved in the design of these homes and how they're going to be released. And so I think it kind of caught fire. And I think it all started with that discussion. And then I think, you getting behind that and kind of introducing the initial kind of concept and design to the company.
Yeah. I think what I did is I dove internally to another core belief of mine of maybe it's ego, but how can we be the best of the best of the best? How can we provide the absolute best experience? And which falls into the core belief of providing a luxury client experience. A luxury client experience. For custom homes, we have built that. But here's another opportunity for someone who doesn't want a custom home, and their client experience is not in custom, it's in this other thing. And so it's another challenge of being able to provide this luxury client experience for someone else on a different level. And so now we're building that, and it's awesome.
So with all that said about the collection and the excitement around it, and obviously it's great that the whole team at the 4C Group is behind it, and we're dedicated to putting out the best product. And I know you touched on this a little bit, but how does that change, or I should say, how does the 4C collection change the sales conversation for our, once that's out? Do we have a strategy yet, or how's that going to change that conversation with the client? Yeah, knowing that you have now the 4C collection, as another tool at the 4C Group. Yeah,
I mean, for anyone who's saying, do you have a springboard, or do you have something? Do you have something now? Like we have an offering now, right? Mm-hmm. But more than that, right? Because that's just one dimension. We'll have an owner coming to us. But more than that, we have developments who have a ton of lots that they need to sell. We have real estate agents needing to sell lots, right? That's what they do. They're there to sell land, right? And now we have something that we can put on any lot they're trying to sell very quickly and say, hey, this is a real thing. This is something that we know how much it costs, that we know that it's a high level design that we can put on whatever you're targeting right now in your specific development to move whichever land it is. And we have something to put on it right now, and we can create a little something for you, send it, and then you have collateral that you can use to help sell that lot. Again, it just comes down to what value can we bring to the market in that way.
I think that's a great point. Other than maybe some few minor modifications just to make sure the house is sited on the property correct, like driveway length, some retaining wall, whatever. Basically say, hey, here's this finished house. Here's all the renderings. Here's all the interior selections. This is what this house costs. And you can be putting a shovel in the ground this year and be building this thing. I think that's a massive, that's a massive benefit. I mean, obviously when we're selling a custom, there's guidelines, right? It's going to cost about this much, and it's going to take about this much time, but that's still, a little ambiguous, right? This is this is it. And literally you can sign a contract in 2 weeks and we can get going and have this thing moving. I think that's amazing.
Yeah. You brought up a good thing. Every owner, everyone asks me on timing, right? So everyone wants to know, how long do things take? Okay. Because everyone thinks that it can just go in tomorrow, right? So for the audience, for everyone,
okay, how long does it take you?
Yeah, for anyone listening, for a custom home,
okay.
Keep this in mind. 4C Group, we are extremely data driven. So we have data on all of these things. So when I say number, it's because it's grounded, it's rooted. What we have found is that for a custom home, it takes roughly, with a homeowner who's invested in their own home, about 10 months, 10 to 12 months. It's somewhere in there. It could take a little longer.
So 10 to 12 months from signing contract to shovel in the ground.
From starting design to then having a set of drawings that's ready for permit.
Okay.
Right. So about 10 months. Now, that sounds like a long time. But keep in mind, when it comes to that timeline, there are things within our control, things that are not within our control, right? Things outside of our control, like the time that it's in for permit, the time it takes for structural engineering to engineer it, the time each development takes for their reviews, preliminary, final design reviews. A lot of things out of our control, but things that are within our control, look, it takes longer with owners because they're more involved in it. Okay.
Yeah, and it's a custom design, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I say that's for a, 6,000 to 8,000 square foot home, roughly somewhere in there. Okay. About 10 months. At the same time, we're doing investor spec homes that are 15,000 square feet, like up in the colony in 6 months, start of design to permits. Yeah. Right. So there's the reality is we can go faster than what most people are comfortable with. We can always go faster, but this is what we see. Okay.
And like you say, you always have I would say this is a majority of the clients. We make decisions quick. Don't you hear that a lot?
That's a red flag.
I don't know if it's a red flag, but I would say
any owner that comes in and says,
everybody,
I'm fast.
Everybody thinks they make decisions quick, but our data shows, hey, and we have data on a lot of projects. It shows it takes 10 months.
That's the average.
And so it's great to be like, that's great. You make decisions quick. That means this is going to take about 10 months.
This is what it means. That's right.
Yeah, I like that. And I think it's great to have data. Yep.
Yeah. So 10 months custom home for a spec, you're right. For an investor type, around 6 months could be on large homes, very large homes, right? For the 4C collection, we're ready to go.
I mean, there's still a time frame to get the shovel in the ground because there's still permitting. There's still has to go through the design review. Even though we're more dialed and know that that's going to work, we still need to do some structural engineering, right, specific to the site. Yeah,
I'd say the biggest variable for the 4C collection is just which site it's on. Complexity of bringing in a drive to work with the auto court in a certain way, the elevation of, how to place that into the site and then get to it is probably the biggest variable when it comes to cost, because we already know what the home is. But there's compared to, look, we're just building it compared to the 10 month, the 6 month is going to be less. We know it.
Well, and I think the other thing too is, the 4C collection, that still doesn't mean you can't make any changes or adjustments to it. Now, I would say architecturally, that obviously adds time. But on the interior side, if you want to make some adjustments to finishes, that can be happening during that process and actually probably not cost as much time as that would during a full custom house. Or how do you say that?
It's trickle down effect, right? You make a change in architecture, it moves a wall. Well, that affects interiors. Interiors is moving their walls. Suddenly it increases the amount of whatever that product, if you increase a bathroom size in architecture, suddenly you're increasing tile and stone and, all those things. And then, it just needs to be worked through the system of, we'll make the change, we'll figure out the time, and then have a realistic estimate on cost and timing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And an important thing is like these homes that we're creating, right? This 4C collection, like it's not meant to be it's not a cheap product. It's not super important. This is architecture designed by architects, interior design designed by interior designers. Now it's not, and construction, integrated. It's not.
The house
a cheapened product.
The house is to the same level and quality as we do our customs.
That's right.
It's already pre-designed.
That's right.
I think that's a big different,
that's huge.
Where you see a lot of developer product that is the entry level cost savings, things like that, where we're not trying to do that. We're trying to still provide the same quality of product, design, construction, all those things, but provide it quicker and less brain damage, I guess, potentially to the client, right? Not that our whole process, the way we do custom is let professionals be professionals, but obviously we take much more input from the client on that because that's the definition of what a custom home is, right? It's one house that, meets the needs of the site and meets the needs of the client, where collection, we've kind of made all those decisions ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
But the quality, there's no lack of quality. It's the
quality is the same level as the custom. And it's a huge distinction because every like I came from the development world of doing this in very high-end luxury resorts, and still the mindset is, well, developer home is a little bit less, like a lesser product than what a custom home is, and there are decisions being made. We made, as we're creating this collection, we also create this decision of, do we want to make it a lesser product, or do we want to keep it? And we made the command decision. No, let's keep it high level. We're not going to take these walls and bring them down to 2x4 walls. We're not going to, on our roof systems, we're not going to compromise and put in a roof that has a chance of leaking. Like, we're not doing that.
Same quality as the custom.
That's it. Yep. Very important.
Yeah. I mean, the big factor is time. You're saving clients time. I mean, it's really a client's time, right? Not only to get into the home sooner, but you're not going to need to be as available for client meetings because a lot of decisions have already been made.
Yeah. Now, with our custom homes, one thing that everyone loves on the custom home, right, because most people don't live here, is that we have field managers on their site every single day. We have a very organized project management system that we use, and those field managers are taking photos of whatever was worked on that day and putting it up onto that management system, so any owner can watch their home being built.
And one of those things we offer is, in that management system is daily logs. And once your project's under construction, it's exactly what that is. There's a daily log of all the activities that are happening on your project, and you can log in and look at that every night.
And people can see, they can look at the schedule and see if we're ahead, on track, behind, whatever. Like, owners have access to that, and they get to watch their home being built, in real time on that daily log. Everyone loves that.
No, it's amazing. And you're getting you're getting all those same services with the collection as a custom.
That's right.
So I think it's going to be an amazing product. I think we're looking a big launch date mid-December. It sounds like mid-December.
Yep. On these first 3.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we're talking about it now. So if there is interest, I think it's something that, we can put in the conversation now, because that's coming down the pipe.
It's going to be here before we know it. Oh, can't wait.
Here before we know it.
No, I'm really excited about it.
So with that, I think that's going to be an amazing thing. And I think that's something that, really nobody else can offer in the market. With that said, where, from your point, being out there with the agents, where do you see the luxury home market headed in Park City over the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah. Where's it headed? Well, I've already been seeing a higher influx of investors coming in, and which an investor home, is slightly different than a custom homes, different from a 4C collection. Where do I see the market going? Look, it's speeding up right now. Like, in this market right now, we are seeing huge traction in lots being sold right now. In the Park City market.
Yep, I agree.
Right now we have, for those who live here and built their homes at $500, $300 a square foot, they're like, oh my gosh, construction costs are so high. But anyone coming in from the outside, it's like, man, you look at our competing markets of
competing
Aspen,
market,
Vail, Jackson Hole, 2,000 foot all day and higher. And then you're looking, Florida, 3,000 a foot. So people coming in saying, man, it's only 1,000 a foot to build here right now. That's awesome. Huge investment, right? So we're seeing a lot of investment coming in right now.
What that means to me is there's still room for growth.
Yeah. And there's tons of lots. I mean, even though like there are tons of lots to be sold still in every development, right? And resales, we're starting to see a lot more resales on lots. But as far as where I see the market going, I see in our field of architecture and design and construction, I can only imagine that there are going to be others that will try and do what we're doing. With traction of more owners coming here to the Park City market, we're also seeing a higher echelon of client coming in as well. Like we're seeing a lot of money is coming into Park City right now. Money with owners who are traveled and expect a higher level experience.
That's what I say. Echelon meaning they're willing to spend more. They appreciate design more. They understand the cost of that design, and
that's what
they want to spend it.
That's what I mean. And they want to spend it. And more than that, it's not just about the product, the end product to the owners. It's about the experience. So I think we have a huge head start with that right now, but I can only imagine others will try and do what we're doing and try and catch up.
Well, it's a good that we get better every day too. So.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
That's awesome. Let's see here. What's a trend? Because, there's always things that happen. What's one trend in luxury living that you think that we're seeing today that will stick, and something that you think may fade away? There's always those trends in the custom residential.
Yeah. Hey, look, we've seen the trends, come in and out. I think the trend of more modern architecture is always being pushed in every development. Every development starts out more. I don't want to say restrictive, but more towards a vibe of what that development wants, and inevitably, those rules loosen over the years and allow more ideas and more modern to come in.
Yeah,
right. Marcella is a great example of this, where they're a development that fairly recent. They started off with an idea of that you could do a lot more in that development from a modern perspective than what a lot of developments allow even today, right? So I see the market going in that direction. Now, with that said, selfishly, when I say modern,
am I sensing classical homes?
Yeah, here it comes. Yeah, no, when I say modern, I don't mean cold, museum type homes. No. The homes. We've seen the trend of more glass. The homes have increased. If you look at a home 10 years ago to now, everyone wants that. All the glass that opens up to the indoor and outdoor living, right? Like that's just going to continue to increase. It's going to increase. And I hope to see more classical elements find their way back into these homes, which I think would elevate the design.
I agree. I was going to say, how does the 4C group, which I think we do a good job at it, how do we stay ahead of the curve while still keeping timeless quality and design we're known for?
Oh, I think this goes back to educate ourselves constantly,
Yep.
See more, learn more. That's how we stay ahead of the curve. I mean, like our interior design team, we have come to the collaboration center. Yep. Which camera is it? Come and see what we're doing here. One part of the tour I love to show people is the interior design cabinets, right? You open up any of those and it's filled with the latest stones, the latest everything,
always being updated, right? Multiple
every
vendors.
Yep. For one, to even become a vendor that we work with, that we collaborate with, you have to be top notch.
Yep.
So start there. And then of those top notch, we have collections, and they come in and are constantly updating the collection, training our teams, saying, hey, here's what we're seeing. Right. So I think that's how we stay ahead is to see what's in the market, understand, and then just push from there.
Love it. That's one thing I always strive to do is not get stale in the marketplace, always evolve, learn. And that goes back to what you talk about, learn as much as you can about your craft. And I think that's a big, big push that we actively, and I should say proactively, do that at the 4C group with, wanting people just to get better, be educated, and help. We want to help everybody here get better at what they do.
Yeah. And I think it starts with hey, check this out.
Yeah.
And it ends with oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then that sticks, right? It's a something else that you may be able to incorporate later on. You're like, oh, do you remember that thing? Dude, let's put that in this. This is killer.
Well, I think it's great here too, because, we have over 40 team members, but, we're always going on site. Like I said, our number one core value is collaboration. We're always collaborating. It's great to see, especially in this collection, seeing everybody interacting on the concept of helping design these homes and seeing the input the different input you get from the construction team, the finance team, the interiors team, the architecture team. I mean, it's amazing what we're doing here, and I'm proud to be a part of it.
Me too. I don't care where the good idea comes from.
Exactly.
Most often, some of these cool ideas come from, it's not the highest payroll.
It isn't.
Any awesome idea, bring it.
Then the best idea gets used.
Always
Gets used. Well, we're getting to one of my favorite sections here, the lightning round. So
I didn't know this was around.
Well, this is what I do. Welcome to my house.
Yeah. All right.
So fun little questions. Supposed to be quick, short answers, but sometimes it ends up going into a conversation. So one thing every luxury client deserves.
Attention.
Okay. You are taking this as the lightning round. Okay, I like that. One word answers.
Well, you might have to.
What's the quirkiest feature you've ever been asked to include it in a home design?
A red room.
Really? I thought you just made that
50
up.
Shades of Gray.
Really?
Yeah.
That wasn't here. That must have been previous.
Well, we're not going to name names.
Okay. Give me one more.
No. Here, I have a good one. No, my first exposure into high-end architecture, moving to LA, working with Tim Arbor. My first project that I was put on, I don't even remember her name. Well, it was a conversion of
names.
Well, this one's okay. It was a conversion of a garage. It was a conversion of a garage into essentially stripper poles. But this was a trend that caught fire in the LA area. She was the owner of.
This was the whole exercise. I got you.
It was the exercise. Yeah, but here I am, young in my career, moved there. That was the first project I was on. I'm like, what did I just get into?
Yeah, and then it ends up being this.
Yeah. It's like an elevated, right? Like, that was one of my. That was fun.
Nice. Favorite part of your workday.
Favorite part of my workday, interacting with people. One word, interact.
Collaboration.
The interaction, the collaboration.
Nice. I agree. That's fun.
I'm a social. But you know what? Sometimes it's also just putting on some killer music and just getting those markers out, getting those pens out, and just getting in the zone. It's one of those two.
Okay, that's good. I mean, I can't argue with that one. One quote or principle that drives your leadership.
A quote
or principle.
That drives me. Wow, that's a good one. A quote.
Stumping the Heath.
Okay. Maybe there's not a quote that drives my leadership. Maybe that's the answer. But I think see the best in people. I would say give grace.
Yeah, I've heard you say that many times.
Everyone has different talents. Every single person has different talents in different fields, in different areas, in different ways, and some are going to excel in some things, some will excel in others, and that should be celebrated. And on the spots that they're weak, just give them grace. Mm-hmm. Give them grace and shore them up with someone who's strong in that area, and work together. Right.
Love it. Great answer. Yeah. Let's see here. Most underrated skill in sales.
The most underrated skill in sales. Man, I'm thinking of skills that are overrated.
Yeah, I know. That's a tricky one, right? Like, it got me thinking a little bit too.
Yeah, the most underrated skill in sales. It's probably just listening. I think, understand, seek first to understand, and then to be understood. Right?
Yeah,
that's.
I agree. Like, the first thing that popped in my head was listening. To me, I was thinking about this though, and I was like, to me, the most underrated skill in sell. That's almost like a tongue twister. Underrated skill in sales is not to sell.
Yeah.
Like, when I do it, I find myself just speaking with conviction about whatever it is, the project we're trying to, and I'm not trying to sell the project. I'm just talking about what my vision is with the information I have in front of me, right? Which is what the client's giving me, what the site's giving me. And I find I'm not really not selling this.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to create a vision. Course. So
of course. Yeah. No. I think the sale is cheapened when you're trying to sell. It does no good to try and talk someone into something.
I agree. It's kind of a funny thing called sales, but the best way to sell is not to sell.
Yeah. With owners, it's more hearing out what they have to say, what they want, showing them our process, and if they resonate with that, then we're a match. It's more of a finding if we're right for each other to collaborate or not. Otherwise, it's not.
To me, it's like if you're going out trying to find your wife, you're never going to find your wife. You know what I mean? Like
I've heard that.
You know what? I'm going to go find me a wife tonight.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't know.
I hope no one's ever said that.
I don't know. I guess not. Maybe that was weird. Maybe I shouldn't even have said that, but just kind of popped up in my head as a similar situation.
But back to that. If you're trying to sell we analyze, we give information, we make the best we can. And then if it's a match, it's a match.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. If money were no object, what's the one design feature you'd put in your own dream home just for fun?
Ooh, just for funsies, huh? Let's see the dream. Man, there's so many options. What, like
money? This is always fun. Like money's no object.
What's funny is I've worked on lots of homes where money's no object, right? I'm thinking of the things I put in other people's homes already, trampoline room inside and, all the, if money's no object, whether money's an object or not, I think the thing that I'd put in my home would be a spot that I could sit in quiet and ponder. And I think it would be a salt room.
Yeah, if you do like the salt room experience, don't you? You've talked about that a lot.
If it's weird. Like, coming from LA, part of a surf club, came here to Utah, there's no ocean. Like I'm not surfing, but when I'm in that water, when I'm surrounded by that salt water, like there's something about it. I don't know what it is, but it's like I could be in the biggest waves, like being torn up by waves, and feel total comfort and peace. And when I sit in a room, like, what I'm talking about, the salt room where all the walls are made of salt, the ground is salt, it's like nice lighting.
Yep.
When I sit in a room and like that with my eyes closed, I get that same feeling. It's like I find myself.
Have you ever tried?
So I'd put that in my
the deprivation tank. That's the salt water, and
No, I haven't.
I think you should try.
I've seen it in homes before. Right, we put them in homes.
I feel like that seems the experience you're looking for. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
So something in that vein.
All right, that's another good one here. If you could collaborate, or 4C could collaborate with any global architect or designer, who would you choose?
Who would I choose? For the longest time, well, hands down, I would choose my grandpa
to collaborate.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
right. But no tears. So he added to the Salt Lake City skyline, right? Like he designed what's now the World Trade Center in Salt Lake. At the time it was the Eagle Gate Plaza. He did the Triad Center. Like I remember as a kid with him rolling out the drawings on the kitchen table, actually drawing on them. Oh, wow. And me seeing that, thinking, oh my gosh. And then I remember going up the elevator of like the construction elevator that I don't know if there were rules there or not, like about like railings and things, but it was sketchy. It felt, to me at the time, it felt sketchy, but like going up on that high rise. No, I would have loved to have worked with him, but for an architect that's either alive or dead now, right? Like a modern architect.
Alive or dead. Let's go.
You know what? I have always, I always said that if I were to work for an architect,
okay,
I would want to work with someone like a Kundig which is funny because he's so ingrained in this Park City market now.
Yeah.
But essentially it's someone with a mind that I enjoy. Like I enjoy seeing their minds through the architecture, and it resonates with me. The amount of detail into the details is off the charts. And I always said, if I were to go work for someone, it would be someone like that, that has that attention to detail.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I like the grandpa story better.
I know. It's cute, right? It's cute.
Oh, okay. So a couple of final questions. I like to always ask, like these are advice questions, right? Like you're trying to portray your wisdom upon us, right? So from your perspective as the chief sales officer, what's the single most important thing every team member at the 4C group what's the single most important thing every team member at 4C should do to deliver an unmatched client experience?
I would say for each team member, elevate your own craft. Just keep getting better. Rise to the occasion. Just keep pushing.
Yep.
Yourself.
Like yep. I mean, I think that's what we talk about all the time here, the 4C group. So I love that advice.
Everyone's at different levels. Everyone's been at the level you're in. So some people are going to get there quicker. They're going to elevate themselves quicker. Be that person.
Mm-hmm.
Do it for your own. Do it for yourself. You owe it to yourself.
Love that. Love that advice. What legacy do you hope to leave at the 4C group?
I hope to leave a legacy of, I've never thought of leaving a legacy to the 4C group.
I know, but this is a fun question to think about because eventually you'll retire and die, right?
Yeah.
And so, what's legacy, right? What do you want to be remembered for?
I guess what I went on my 4C tombstone would say that, what, he gave it his all, right? He never compromised. He was always pushing for excellence and was kind and helped those around him become their best versions of themselves.
Wow. Fantastic. Love that. And I think you do that every day, Heath.
Oh, thank you. I think you do too.
Thank you very much. Well, I think that kind of wraps it up. I think that was a great final answer there, Heath, with that, and a lot of wisdom in that as well. So I'd like to invite all the listeners. Hey, anything you heard today, we talked a lot about the collection, a lot about the 4C group. Obviously, anybody's invited to come on down. He's the chief sales officer. You can hit us up on Instagram, the website, contact info. Love to have you over, give you a tour. Love to talk to you about 4C group custom, 4C collection. And if you really like what you saw, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for having me.
Yes.